Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome everyone to Undrafted Uncensored, a little late night edition. Get your pillows, get your bankies, get all warm up and cozy up with us as we discuss Los Deportes de Denver.
See,
Yeah.
That's Denver sports for anyone who doesn't know.
We are multicultural on this show.
I was going to say Los
that's
Caballos de
bilingual.
Denver, but that's horses, not Broncos.
Well, it's also multicultural, not just bilingual. I'm engaging the culture as well.
Mm-hmm. We're for the culture here on the Undrafted.
You had a burrito.
Podcast.
I just spoke Spanish. Joe, you got to do something Latin now. Okay, don't actually. No, let's just not do that. I don't know where that's gonna go. I don't want to know where that's gonna go. It's Victory Monday.
They call me Cuban.
The Raiders. The Raiders kind of beat themselves, but the Broncos still beat the Raiders, and that was fun,
Dude.
It was fun to just be a part of that and take it in. And I mean, the 77 unis all over the place, just the old D just floating around. And I thought to myself when I was at the game yesterday, the ownership did everything great except one little thing.
Cover Brock Bowers.
The
No.
ownership can't do that.
Yeah. PS2 can only cover one guy at a time, and he's not covering a tight end.
Thank God ownership wasn't out there. They would have done a way worse job.
So I'm sitting there in my seat, and Miles is being floated down the seats, down to the sideline by the fans like he always does. And they missed a prime opportunity to bring Huddles back.
I don't know Huddles.
The little
You
one?
don't remember Huddles, the mascot?
Mm-mm. I didn't go to a lot of games.
You didn't have to go to a lot of games. You just had to watch them.
They don't show the mascots a lot. They show Thunder and they kind of show Miles every once in a while, but they talk about Thunder more than they talk about Huddles. I don't think they've honestly ever talked. I mean, I don't even know who Huddles is. They rarely talk about the mascot.
Actually, former Mayor Hancock was actually Huddles.
No way. Okay.
That's great.
Mascot.
Let me see.
All I'm
Oh,
thinking
here
of-
we go.
The other night I went and saw that new Joker movie, and there's a character whose last name is Puddles, and it is definitely brought up. Wait a minute, your name is Puddles? That's all I can think of now. But yeah, remember there was like the little horse mascot, I want to say? Like a
Hey.
Miles?
See, this is Huddles.
Oh, no. Okay, that's an old mascot. So
Yeah.
pre-Miles.
Yeah. They got rid of Huddles, and then they brought in Miles. And there's Mayor
Okay.
Hancock as
Yeah.
Huddles.
Well, trip down memory lane. Sometimes some of those should stay in the past, and that one
Yeah.
looks good, like it belonged back in the past.
No,
Like,
it
you
stays
could-
there.
You could update it maybe, because that does look terrible.
Well, they did. I mean, they did update some of the stuff a little bit, Just, I don't know. It was a
don't know.
prime opportunity missed.
Inspired by Huddles.
Yeah, I'm sad.
Hey, be grateful with what you got. All right, it took almost 45 plus years, whatever it is, to get these unis back, or 30 years back, I guess.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's, 25, 97, 98.
97, 98, yeah.
Yep.
Let's do quick math. Not my specialty.
Nobody said there would
Almost
be math
30.
on radio.
Yeah, because
I was
96.
promised there would be no math.
I was told.
So, yeah, I mean, everything was so amazing, though. Again, I'm going to give ownership credit. They did a really good job. I mean, they had the sidelines covered with the old helmet, the south stands, underneath the south stands over there. The
Did you
graphics.
get a belt buckle?
No, because my 3-hour-long radio show decided to run over, and by the time I was done, they were all gone.
Of course.
Now I got to get on eBay to get my brother one.
That sucks.
Yeah, I was a little mad because I was like, dude, I had the only problem with it is I was all ready to go, had the each hour like ready for the upload, but we have to do it backwards. So I have to do hour 3 first, then hour 2, then hour 1, so that it's going in order.
I might be able to help you with that. We'll talk off air because there's a way to.
If there's a way you can help me, then that'd be great because
yeah.
I was ready to go.
I'm pretty sure I know how to fix that problem for you.
Oh, Colin, you're about to be my hero. You know what? You might get yourself asked to a Bronco game here pretty soon.
You know, it might not be the one that I wanted, but I might get asked to a game. I'm kidding.
It's the one you deserve.
No, it's the one you wanted. It's a Bronco game.
Yeah, no,
we'll see what the record is first, whether or not it's one you wanted.
Hey, speaking of winning, my baseball team, we won on Sunday.
Yes,
5-0. We got shut out. It was victories all around Colorado on Sunday.
I love it. How'd you do?
I scored from first to home.
And then you were done after that?
And I was done. Yeah, I was literally done. I was shaking in the dugout. I don't know if it was a caffeine what it was, but my legs were like jello. I was like, yep, someone else going for me. But yeah, I scored from first on a double.
Ooh,
I was on my horse.
Look at you!
And I actually jogged because I jogged for a second. I mean, I'm very fast. I'm fast for 40.
Very fast.
But I started to jog because I heard someone say out, like it was out. And so I looked back, and then the whole rest of the team's like, fucking run. I was like, okay. And then we had no third base coach because we're discombobulated. I was like, all right, I'm just going to go home. Like, screw it. Whatever. And yeah, I got home. Throw was not in time. But yeah, I was on my horse rounding third and then rounding second. Then I heard it was out. And I looked around, and my whole dugout's like, run. I'm like, okay. No one's there to tell me, like, someone coach third, like we should. I mean,
yeah, you should at least have a third base coach. I do love.
You'd rather not have one. There's no one there to stop you. Just keep fucking going every time.
I do love the gamesmanship, though. The other team telling you it's out.
You
had to have been down.
I heard it, and I don't know if it was them or if it was the umpire say something. I don't know what it was, but I heard some stuff. I was like, okay, cool, whatever it was. And so I looked, but you know, the speed kicked back in. I got back to the dugout, and yeah, I was shaking. Like I said, it might have been too much caffeine before the game. I felt a little weird going into it, but yeah, I got myself on base with a hit and scored from first. And that didn't help that I was stealing second the pitch before that, and it was a foul ball. So my old ass was already tired.
Yeah.
And then he hit. Then I knew it was a deep shot to center, so I just took off. And you know, I'm not watching the ball, and we don't have a third base coach. But yeah, first to home. Haven't made that run in a long time. A long time. That's
I was a catcher. I never made that run.
I'm just picturing Tom Berenger fucking doing everything he can to fucking get one base. Just.
It was like that war scene in Forrest Gump where they're like, run! And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
You knew I was all alone.
Yep. Yeah.
Bad thing.
Once they said run, I just kept going.
There was no third base coach, so he hit third and then just went into the dugout. I guess. Does that mean he's out?
That's pretty much what happened.
Oh, that's too funny.
But yeah, shut him out. You know, played a little bit. Had my mom come out and watch, which was cool. I played the whole game, but I was, like I said, I don't know what happened. I think it was caffeine, no food, working late the night before because DU hockey started this week. So DU hockey undefeated also, by the way. Before we get into all, I mean, real Broncos talk and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for jumping on with us as we put our stuff together. But DU started off 2-0, won 6-2 night one, and won 4-1 on the second night. Almost a shutout to like the last minute of the game or so, minute and a half.
Garbage time.
Yeah. But DU looking like the defending national champs that they are, and the number one ranked team in college hockey. So hopefully that continues, and you can listen to me on their intermission reports.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll get to start doing those. Just getting trained how to do them too. Drew was telling me about that, so I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the last step before actually doing real weekday shows. Like Colin is kind of the only one on our weekend crew that is actually qualified to do.
Yeah, I am the only one right now.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
Okay, let's let's end the ego stroking now.
Things are
Gentlemen,
looking up. I'm happy.
that's called a winning streak.
Yes.
That is
What's the
3 in a
quote from
row.
Major League Colin or Nick?
Yes, we
you
went
get
back
a
to
win
Major
and
League
then-
again.
Yeah. What is it?
You remembered.
Yeah. You get a win and then what is it?
Win 2, that's even better.
Yeah.
Win 3, that's called a winning streak.
Do we wear sleeves?
No, we don't wear sleeves or caps in this level.
Okay.
There's no sleeves in baseball. Let's go.
I was trying to remember the line. I was like, I know it. Okay,
Caps and sleeves at this level, kid.
son.
Son. That's right. Son, not kid. I always go back and forth between kid and son. No, it's a winning streak, but it didn't look good the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so.
No, it didn't.
I don't know what the feeling was in the stadium, but I was sitting there and I looked down. And I was like, "Oh, we're like 5 minutes in, and wait, Vegas has already scored. What the hell? Brock fucking Bowers."
So I get there, right? I'm getting out of my car. I just paid for the parking, and I'm walking to the stadium, and I had gotten out, and I got the notification that the game was underway. The kickoff was just happening. I left my AirPods here, so I couldn't listen to it. As I'm walking, I'm turning the corner under the bridge, back behind Elitch's.
Yeah,
I just hear, I'm like, I've been walking like a minute and a half, it feels like. And all of a sudden that, and then I get the notification that Minshew actually found Bowers, and I was like, of course he did. Why wouldn't we? 2 minutes into the game. So it was not a good feeling.
I mean, to continue the ego stroke, there was the one guy that I was worried about was Bowers in the tight end, and he really, if there was anything that beat the Broncos, it was Bowers. I mean, he had a hell of a game. What did he end up with? 90 some odd yards receiving.
Can you imagine if he played for a real team?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah, him and Max Crosby, those were the two. And Crosby had 2-3 sacks, at least 2. They came at very opportune times right up until they stopped mattering. After a certain turning point of the game that I won't spoil for those at home. We're gonna spoil it. PS2's fucking 100-yard pick six. It was dope.
Dude. So
I was in your end zone, right?
the pick was
Yeah.
I just got into the building when that happened. I watched on TV again. I looked up and I ran into a friend and I was like, oh. And so, of course, all the Bronco fans were there. We're like, go. And then PS2 scores, and I'm like, there better not be a flag because I saw the block. And I was like, that might be a hold. And so, like, no flag. I was like, all right, we're cheering. And so we're all excited. And then you hear, Raiders. I'm like,
suck.
do you guys think that every time somebody scores, it's good for you? Because that's not how football works.
That play was.
Dude,
that's what I talked about with the Broncos. They need to capitalize on those opportunities. And yes, this was the defense making a play and doing everything to score. But the offense then being able to come back and continue the momentum that they built. That's what scared me because they dealt with that adversity early on.
Mm-hmm.
And they took the first 2 punches really from the Raiders, and then they responded really quickly. And so that's a really good sign for this team and something I didn't know if I would see. You know, there's things in this game that I obviously want to see cleaned up. I mean, Troy Franklin, come on, man.
Dude.
Come on, man. Like, dude, you gotta help your boy out.
On a tray, man. On a silver platter. All you have to do is.
Yeah.
And that was in my end zone, too.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I was in my end zone, too. And so I saw him land, and I was all excited because I didn't see him drop it at first. So I'm, like, up in the air, and, like, I saw the ball just, like, squirt out. And then I went, oh.
I wonder if you were on TV for that, if I could see you in the background. Oh, it was on the other corner of the end zone, though, wasn't it?
No, it was on my corner.
Was it on your corner? Maybe you were in the background.
Yeah, the only guy wearing the Tom Nalen jersey.
Yeah.
Look for Nalen. Look for 77.
66.
What I think?
That's what I said. 55.
Yeah, 28.
Is that high?
So I mean,
Numbers.
that, like you said, the PS2 pick six was obviously just the Broncos pulling the starter and getting it going. The offense is still trying in that first half. I mean, they got 10 points before the half. They got the ball back, and they started to really show what they're capable of. But I wish the first half looked as good as the second half on the offense. And I understand there's going to be some adjustments in every game at halftime. But it seems like a lot of the adjustments they make they should already be there, it feels like. They got the run game going. They got both Javonte and Jaleel involved. The play action was working. And again, I understand some of that comes from running the ball more and more. But I don't know. It just seems like there's something missing in that first half before they make their adjustments.
I think that's kind of a Sean Payton, like, feel it out and see what's going to happen in this game. I don't know if he fully trusts his offense to go full bore to start things, because his experience of giving the reins over to the offense was all of last year, and so maybe he has a little PTSD from last year and trying to give them too much too early. So yeah. I think that might be it, and then trying to build upon what they did well in the first half. And they went into half with 13, Nick. I think you said 10.
Oh, did I? Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was like, wasn't there? They were leading at halftime.
Yeah, you're right.
It wasn't 10-10.
No,
they got that last second field goal.
The field goal because of the offsides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely things to work on. I mentioned Troy Franklin already, but Javonte Williams, your leading rusher and receiver, not ideal when you have one player in Cortland Sutton who you're paying the most money to on the offensive side.
First catch didn't come to like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, in terms of playmakers, yeah.
You have Troy Franklin who dropped that ball, who you traded it up for. And then you have Marvin Mims, who's not involved in the offense at all.
Yeah, who's that?
He had a catch.
Well, yes, he had a catch.
And he had that return. That was cool.
That return was nice.
But I'm talking about offense. Yes, no. I'm talking about the offense. And
yeah, no, I get you.
I'm talking about offense.
It's scary to think that without this defense, I mean, the Broncos obviously would not have a win at this point.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
The offense still isn't clicking. It's better, but it's not really clicking. And, Bo Nix is rushing it touchdowns. He obviously had his two. The Josh Reynolds gets his first one, and Jaleel gets another one. But it still seems clunky, and they still seem in preseason form.
Which
at least offensively.
I mean, I think it was to be expected, though, that they would still be a little clunky at this point because, I mean, it takes you a while to get good at your job, especially when you're new. And, just because he's played quarterback in college doesn't mean he's going to be automatically good in the NFL. I mean, Tim Tebow, Drew Lock. Should I keep going?
Sure.
Well,
it's a different game. It's a different speed. It's still adjusting to things.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but this is still a beat-up Raiders secondary, and you threw for 200 yards in the game, and I know that you got the lead in the third, but you threw for 200 yards when you're off, or when you put up 27 points on offense.
Well, you have to remember too, how many of those were short field too? Because you're getting turnovers and
that's fair.
Getting good field position. I mean, you can only throw 50 yards if you're going to start at the 50.
That's fair. That's a fair point. And I guess the offense just doesn't feel. I don't know if it's everyone not having a grasp of it or if it's Bo. Maybe Max Crosby yelling at Bo from across the line. He was right.
Bueller.
They don't hear you.
Bueller.
Doing his Jack Lambert to Elway impression.
Yeah, I don't know. the offense.
And you're right. It does feel. It feels weird for sure. Like, and I think too, it's hard to prove feel with stats, so it doesn't always just correlate. So yeah, like they had a lot of short fields, so it didn't really feel great, but it didn't feel like they were guaranteed to move the ball in those short fields even. Like, and yeah, Sean Payton does a lot of his play calling by feel. How many times can I say that word in this statement? And so I think that's why you get a lot less running early on, more passing. That's what he wants to do. That's just what makes him happy. He wants to get those quick little passes that just make everything easy. He doesn't want to go hard nose, pound the rock that often. And then once they got the lead, yeah, it was all fucking downhill. Let's go. And so I think until either he realizes they need to do more of that or until the pass becomes more effective or whatever, I think it's still going to feel just a little bit disjointed. And we're going to complain about this until it happens, so hopefully not years, but maybe years. We need to see more pre-snap motion in this offense to just help the guys understand what the defense is trying to do.
Like, I'm looking at it right now, up until the fourth quarter, the touchdown, the Bo Nix rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bastard.
Which was 8 plays on that drive.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have more than 7 plays, 4 plays, 3 plays, or no. It goes 7 plays punt, 7 plays field goal, 3 plays punt, 6 plays punt, 5 plays field goal, 3 plays punt. There's just not any sustained success, which is kind of what's scary. 6 plays touchdown, 5 plays punt, 8 plays touchdown, 4 plays touchdown, 3 plays punt.
It's all around though, that whole offense. It's not just Bo. It's because, like you said, you got to make those catches. You can't have
8 play drives aren't. Yeah, I know it's not just Bo, but 8 play drives, and that's what I'm talking about with the offense. It's not going to win you games.
No,
8 play drives are going to end up in a lot of field goal attempts. And do we really want to trust whatever results on Will Lutz? While he has been pretty clutch lately and good, I'm not trusting him. I don't want to trust him to win games for us, because once he gets I shouldn't have even said that.
Oh, here we go.
Let's go.
Finish it.
Once he gets the yips, it's over.
There it is.
Like it's gonna be. I don't mean to jinx it and profit it, but it's bound to happen at some point in the season for him, because it's happened the last few years where he gets the yips and he can't make anything. So are we gonna put all the pressure on that guy? And I just need to sustain some drives. I mean, I don't know when the last double. I mean, maybe it was 2 games ago or against Tampa Bay that they had a double-digit drive, play drive.
Yeah.
You can't do that, and you have to play some ball control. If you're going to play this style of offense, you have to have ball control and to win the games too. So the Broncos were lucky they were playing a beat-up Raiders team, and they dominated them like they should. So, but they were playing a beat-up Raiders team who also, they benefited from dumb mistakes by Gardner Minshew too.
Yeah, who got himself pulled later in the game. So, Joe, your favorite mustache was sitting on the bench for.
Dude, that's great. Great news. The plan's coming into motion. Minshew's now been benched, so they can trade him somewhere else, and I can fully love him again. Everything's going to be great. He's going to Miami. He's going to go to fucking Carolina. No, they already have a guy.
Carolina's not taking him with Andy.
Yeah, they're not trading it for anybody. But yeah, somebody like that. So he's going to go. New York? I'm kidding. Rodgers is fine. But
no,
that ankle thing. Yeah, right. I feel like that could actually theoretically happen, because the Raiders are kind of fucked. Antonio Pierce doesn't seem like he's ready for this. So they may be in the mindset of, what? Fucking fire sale. Devontae Adams is already gone. You already fucked that up. Because sadly, with the Raiders, just because this was the decision you should have made years ago does not mean this is the decision to make this year, or last year in this case, because they should have kept Rich Bisaccia. There was no reason to not keep Rich Bisaccia. Josh McDaniels was the dumbest fucking decision. So yeah, now you get rid of Josh McDaniels, interim guy comes in, looks good. It's not the same thing. This guy hasn't been in the league for years. Keeping him around, I don't think was as correct as Rich Bisaccia, and the team doesn't have much to show for it. But hey, if they're terrible this year, they get rid of Antonio Pierce. All of a sudden, they can bring in a quarterback. They could bring in a coach. There's been some rumors about Shedeur Sanders, and then therefore tied to Deion Sanders potentially going there, which I don't think he would go right away. But that also just feels bad. So they're potentially setting themselves up to be good in a few years. But man, they got, and Aiden O'Connell looked fucking horrible. He looked out of shape. He looked like he gained weight but was still weak somehow. Like at this point, just tank for whoever, whether it's Ewers or you like Shedeur, or fucking take Travis Hunter, and then in 2 years take Arch Manning, because you're going to be so bad for so long. But we pray the Raiders aren't that smart and they try to win some games this year.
Well, not only are they the Raiders, they've also been touched by the one and only Josh McDaniels, so that curse is gonna linger with that organization for a little bit.
If anyone knows, if anyone knows about the lingering curse of McDaniels, it's us Broncos fans.
You got the touch.
Well, even with, there are going to be teams looking for quarterbacks. Just tonight, it looks like Derek Carr went down.
Yeah,
he left the game, and the game was kind of out of hand, so you don't know if he could have come back in. But he went to the locker room. He didn't even stay in the game. So there's another one. I know that is Buffalo gonna. I don't know what's going on with Josh Allen in Buffalo, but are they gonna trust? Oh my goodness, what's his name? Bears. Oh,
Trubisky, Mitchie Trebs.
Trubisky to run that, probably, because he's been there and he came back this season.
He's okay, but
there are going to be some chances and some trades, and so I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders did go with the fire sale. But you have to wonder what the Broncos are doing too at that same point when you talk about quarterbacks, because right now it's Bo Nix's team, and Zach Wilson isn't going to get a chance to show what he can do, and he might have some value there, or Jared Stidham. You don't know. Hey, how about this? Devontae Adams for Jared Stidham. You can have him back, Las Vegas.
Deal.
Sold. Where do I sign?
Take it. I just
thanks.
To get it back to the Broncos, I wonder. I'm hoping that I don't want to throw too much on this season, because, like I said, the offense I still think needs some help, and I don't want them all of a sudden at the trade deadline to start giving up future assets in picks to try and get some guys in this year to help with this.
Well, hopefully they learned their lesson about that already.
Yeah, we don't know that they have, though, so we have to get through this season. We've learned that they won't trade, even though they should have been trading in past years.
Touché.
So we know they've been going to the Montfort School of Trades.
Maybe it's Zoltar. Remember the old Zoltar machine?
Oh, yes.
Maybe that's where they're doing all their.
Yeah,
should I trade Justin Simmons? No.
Tar says no.
It also felt like before the current regime of ownership that the executives were the results of the old Zoltan machine. Small children that wished to be big and then made it into the boardroom.
I look at it, and like I said, I like what I'm seeing, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah. The nice thing too is we are seeing some growth out of Bo too. Like each week, it may not be like significant flowers blooming on him, but he's making strides. He's showing us that he's getting the offense down. And hey, when you yell back at your coach, good for you, kid. I love that.
Good for you, bud.
he's got a little bit of that to him.
I liked it. I like
A
the
little bit of that
fire.
Ferris Bueller.
I like the fire. Although I don't like the comparison to Ferris Bueller, but I like the fire.
Nobody does because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it really doesn't.
I love when they asked him about it too, and they were like, "Coach, could you explain that comparison to Ferris Bueller?" And he didn't fucking know. He's like, well, he's kind of
Quirky.
well, you've seen the movie, right? You know.
Only Leggy would do that to him too. That was funny.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't know. It's been a great weekend. I mean the pressure's not stopping though, because now you have San Diego coming in.
Yeah.
Los Angeles. Wow.
San Diego.
Colin, would you like to
Founded
take
by the
over? Because I don't
Germans.
know where any teams are anymore.
Well,
Raiders are in Los Angeles.
I will take over with this part though. This is a trouble week for the Broncos because the Chargers are coming off of a bye. You got to assume that they're going to be healthier coming into this game than they were. So that means probably Bosa and Herbert are not as banged up. Lad McConkey should have a chance to be back. I worry about it because these are different types of receivers than the Broncos have faced so far, and not that Quentin Johnson is better than a Garrett Wilson, but he's a different type of receiver. And when you add in a guy like Lad McConkey over the middle, the Raiders didn't have a guy like that. And I can compare it a little bit to the Buccaneers, but I also think the Buccaneers, we caught them on an off week when they weren't at full strength. And I kind of expect the Chargers to be there. So this can be a little scary. I know we're going to preview it later on this week a little bit more, but I'm nervous about this week because it is also the Harbaugh revenge, or I see this is why you didn't choose me type of thing, or I didn't choose you because I wanted this team option. So that's what really gets me that I think about coming into this week is that it could be these guys need to stay on task and not think just because you won 34-18 over another depleted team that you have that you're hot.
Well, and we talked about it too. Not only do you have the Chargers coming in this week, you're on a short week, and you go to New Orleans on Thursday.
Nolans.
So there's that too. Where's Sean Payton's head at that point? Because he doesn't care about what Harbaugh's feelings are about the Broncos. That's not my bag, or whatever he said. But that Saints game is definitely on Sean's mind.
I bet you we see some things installed this week that are to set up for the Saints, and I wonder if that plays a role in this and how the Broncos play.
It's not a bad thought. But again, we'll chat about it a little more. Let the boys enjoy their victory. Let us enjoy our victory. A little Mountain Dew Zero, not sponsor.
We'd love it.
And let's get into what was a wacky, wild college football weekend. Obviously everybody's going to start with the big one, and we'll just go to just Alabama. Just what was that? And how much money did you put? You already got the smile going.
I didn't put anything on it.
Oh, okay.
I thought I was on there, and I was looking at it, and I was just like, "Oh man, I couldn't pull the trigger. It was too tough of a game to pull the trigger." But the funny, those kids tearing down the post, being escorted by the police to
to throw it in the water.
Yes, throw it in the water. College football. I've never been a huge college football fan, but I'm a fan of tradition. And so for those kids to be able to do that was pretty amazing. But it was a crazy weekend. I was talking to Drew at the station earlier today, and I won our college football pick and pool again. And he was like, he told me he went to bed because the last game that really mattered was Cal versus Miami. And Cal was way up. He's like, "Oh, I went to bed not even thinking about it because anyone left in it was going to lose because we all had Miami." And he had Cal, and there was no way of any of us coming back with the last game because we all picked the same. So he went to bed. They woke up and he was like, I had to check 2 different websites to make sure I was reading it correctly. And I lost. And I was leaving the DU hockey game, and when I was leaving doing that game, they were still down by double digits, and it was like, okay, whatever. I lost this week. I've won 2 already. Who cares? But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden they start coming back, and I get home and they're driving to win the game. I was like, no way. It was a weird week. This has been a college football season full of just very odd games, it feels like.
Golden Gophers ended up beating USC by a tutty. It's been
Who is the Golden Gophers?
Minnesota.
Love it. I don't watch enough college football to know that.
Syracuse beat UNLV.
Yeah, UNLV saw, without their quarterback.
Without the quarterback.
Double overtime.
I was gonna say, and then you had the other games where last week it was K-State beating Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State hasn't looked good at all. You have just had some odd games happening in college football, and really, I think it goes to show that Texas is far and away the best.
Oh yeah,
even without their number one coming into camp quarterback.
Yeah,
Quinn Ewers, because Arch Manning is stepping in there and doing a damn good job. So Texas is the team to beat, and until someone does that, can't change my mind on who the national champion is, because I don't think they're going to get beat. But beyond that, every Saturday, Friday, Thursday, whatever night lights there are, I don't know who to pick in a bunch of these games anymore. I don't.
No. Remember when before the season started, everyone was talking about how man, Texas, they can't do shit in the SEC. They're gonna get destroyed by all these better teams. Who's saying that now?
Auburn, maybe.
Do they lose to Auburn, or have they just not played them
No.
yet? Texas is undefeated, aren't they?
I don't know. I was just saying them because they're in the SEC.
I was like, Auburn got beat this weekend too. I can't. Who?
I was like, I don't remember Auburn being good for a while. I remember Cam Newton. That's obviously been way too long.
No, Auburn got beat. I can't remember.
Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia.
Number 5, Georgia.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
And Georgia lost to Alabama.
Louisville lost to SMU.
there's been some weird.
Dude, what a weekend it was! Yeah, you couldn't change the channel without being like, "What? Tennessee lost to Arkansas?"
Yeah, Tennessee, Arkansas. That was another one.
I knew there was one more.
Yeah, wild. Tennessee. I don't know.
Yeah,
so we're just praying that keeps up. We got Kansas State lost to Colorado. What?
Yes. That would be ideal.
I think this is going to be the big test. We'll see what it brings. I mean, maybe Davis will fly out to Boulder this weekend and watch the game, and tell Shedeur how much more he's looking at bringing him in as quarterback, and
I hate it.
And bringing his dad over for a coaching job.
Nope, absolutely not. You can't betray the city of Colorado, the state of Denver. You can't, the state of Boulder. You can't betray them like that after you fall in love with them so much. They've had such a great relationship. The old CU lady, no, you can't do that.
And I don't want to go back into this too much, but I also don't know how real those opportunities are. I believe the number I heard was that the Raiders are paying $90 million right now to former coaches. So let's not.
So why stop now?
Like I said, I don't want to go too far. Well, you have to be able to pay them, and the Raiders
they're in Vegas now.
It's not in the cap.
Well, there is no cap, but you still have to have the money, and they're not a cash-rich franchise. They're a not an investment. They're they're not a liquid company, really. Yeah. They don't have a lot of liquid cash. They have assets. They're an asset-rich company, but not a cash-rich company or team. So to pay $90 million plus whatever it's going to take to buy out Pierce, and then you got to worry about paying Prime,
and that's a hefty price tag. We all know that would be.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I hear a lot of this, but when I heard that they were paying their old coaches $90 million, I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. Maybe Prime isn't going to ask for the 18 million like Sean Payton is getting. I mean, Andy Reid gets 25 million a year, but the top five, I believe they were going over it when I heard it. It was top five lowest is like 14 million a year.
And I still don't think he would want to coach at the professional level anyway. I don't think he would be able to do it. He doesn't have. I don't think he can have the control over the players that he can right now.
I think it depends. I think he would do it to prove that he could, but I don't think it'll happen for a while. I think especially he'll want to coach his son. Whatever team his son goes to, that's going to endlessly be speculated. Well, they're going to hire Deion Sanders as the next head coach.
That's true.
And
it will be a speculation.
And it's almost
Dallas.
guaranteed to happen depending on which team it is. Like,
Dallas.
if it's a team that doesn't have an established guy, like, bro, if the Dallas Cowboys land to Shedeur Sanders, it's over.
Would go to Dallas. That's
Guaranteed. I think he would enjoy that. I think they would love him. That would be a good fit. And he would try to fancy himself like one of those CEO head coaches, the John Harbaugh, the Mike Tomlin. You know, he'll get him some coordinators. Oh, God, he's going to bring back fucking Pat Shurmur. Yeah, just go to the Cowboys and keep fucking him up. That'll be hilarious. Watch him go 3 wide in the NFL on the goal line.
Hey, it's just a matter of time. Moving on real quick, the divisional series began in MLB. All 4 series are heading to their next city with a 1-1 tie. Phillies pulled it out last night. Yeah.
Lucky, but they got a little bit of that Mets magic.
They did.
Madness.
They did. Yankees lost tonight. Tigers won this afternoon. And
Padres.
the Padres just walked all over the Dodgers yesterday. I loved it to a point. I still can't stand Manny Machado. And let's stay classy, Los Angeles. Come on.
San Diego.
No, Los Angeles. They were throwing things on the field last night it was Jerks and Profar, so I didn't really care that much.
No,
When
but
they started throwing it at the center fielder, throwing at the center fielder, then I got mad.
So Profar robs a home run from Mookie Betts.
Oh, it was beautiful too.
And he played it off like it was not like it was in the stands or he didn't have it, but he just kind of stood there looking at him for a few moments, walked away, fooled everybody in the stadium. Probably besides those few people that were sitting right there knew the ball wasn't around them.
Yeah.
I mean, the camera guys got fooled. The announcers were fooled. The players were fooled. Everyone was cheering like it was a home run. Betts was already rounding second, I want to say, at that time. And then he shows the ball off, and the LA fans lost their minds on him. You know, they had to pause the game for 15 minutes because they were throwing baseballs and beer and everything at him.
Well, they started doing around the entire outfield. It's just like, come on, guys. Let's let these guys play.
That's one of those things that will spur the opponent on to beat you. And I don't like saying. I mean, like I said, I was cheering for the Padres, and I am cheering.
Oh yeah, I am too.
But my money's been on the Dodgers, so it's kind of one of those. I can't really lose, but I can lose. I would like to have it not riled up in some sort of dumb controversy like that, because you know, with some of those fans now, there's going to be some extra stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have some other extra news coming.
Someone's going to get drilled.
Happening. Yeah. Oh, someone's definitely getting drilled.
Someone's going to get drilled. Well, then they were talking about Darvish having to wait for them to clear the field, so that was extra time that he wasn't throwing, and so that was going to screw up his rhythm. And I mean, in baseball, all it takes is one little thing to screw up your rhythm, and next thing you know, you're giving up 4 bombs in a matter of 3 innings.
Yep. Well, and then the manager has to walk out on the mound and go, "I'm sorry, you've thrown off the Emperor's groove."
No, Emperor. But the Padres hitting, unbelievable. I mean, they knocked 4 bombs. I mean, Tatis is a Dodger killer.
He is.
How happy they must be that he hasn't gotten popped for anything else.
Right.
because right now he's single-handedly basically beating the Dodgers, and he did that for a few games this season too.
Mm-hmm.
He's on another level as far as his gameplay. And you talked about momentum, and I'm not trying to rub salt in the wound, Nick, but you saw a little bit of that momentum in the break hurting the Yankees tonight.
And the Phillies.
But more so with tonight's game.
Well, they can't. The problem with tonight was they can't hit left-handed pitching. They've been hitting like less than 230 all season long. They're like below 500 against left-handed starters. So you're already behind the 8 ball there. Rodon is only good for probably about 2.5 innings. Well, there goes your starter, which means they should have brought Luis Gil in for long relief, but I'm not Aaron Boone.
But it's also kind of what you talked about is that you know, these guys came in cold, and you had that central that they've had to play this whole damn time to get themselves into the playoffs. And now, unfortunately, you have the Guardians and Tigers facing off.
Did you watch that game today, though?
I did not. I was at work, but I saw the highlights at the end of it. Yes,
it was a game.
Just you didn't know, you were on the edge of your seat. I'm sure I was watching an 8-minute highlight of a game that's 2-0 because everything's like, oh, this is the game breaker. This is a game breaker. But you have the Royals going into New York and running. You know, they didn't hit the ball. I mean, I think they went 0-15 at one point. Was what I heard, but they get on the base pass and they start moving around. They start stealing bases and they hit and run. I like doing these things that we don't see in Major League Baseball as much anymore.
It's a central thing.
And what it's doing is screwing with the other team's ideas and how they play the game, and they're letting it affect them. So the Yankees, with all that time off, getting in their head, it got in their heads a little bit, I think, about what these other teams are going to do to them. And they're so nervous about all that, they're not going out and playing their game. And sorry, but Aaron Judge in the playoffs.
He got his first hit finally.
I mean,
I was impressed, though.
Nick, you know as well as I do, though, this is not a good look on a guy who's supposed to be the superstar.
No. And I mean, I was impressed just the first at bat I watched from him. You know, he's got runners at first and second and nobody out. And they went right after him. I mean, it was just right in the zone. You can hit it, you can name it, and good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
I don't like saying it, but it's just it doesn't seem like he has that gene in him in the playoffs. Like he's not clutch.
I mean, if he's not giving them a reason to not go at him, then why would they stop going at him? You know,
all it takes is one, though. I mean, look at A-Rod.
Yeah, but it still took for all the time that it took, and and what should have happened in many of those years prior to it.
Yeah,
like that's what you're missing out on. Yeah, until it happens, it happens. But right now, he's just not a player that you want to have carrying your team.
The problem is it's so hard to say that, though, because again, all it takes is one, and next thing you know, he's got that train rolling again. It's such a double-edged sword.
No, I get it, but the train has never gotten any cars hooked up to it. The train has never gotten out of the auto shop or whatever.
No, they've never had
yard.
They've never had
a yard.
They've never had sufficient enough pitching though, and or a cast to really help him.
No,
now he's got help, but the only problem is his help is not hitting left-handed pitching.
Yeah, He might have one of those playoffs that just takes a long time, and hopefully for him and for you, Nick, like one of these days he does have that moment and they come through and break through. I don't know when it's going to be, and it doesn't feel like it's going to be this playoffs for Judge.
I think it will. I think it's
tomorrow. Do they play tomorrow? I don't know.
No, they play
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Tomorrow's National League. But you know what's right now?
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
the Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta, wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin, just kinda winging it.
You know, here at Undrafted Uncensored, we thank you all for listening, and sometimes we are just winging it. I gotta ask Joe. Joe, did you watch a game this weekend?
I would never. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, then we'll just stick with the victory formation. Cool.
I didn't take any notes or watch any. It's funny because it actually looks blank.
Do you like
until I get into focus?
Oh, you don't need to dig it out. Look at that.
Most interesting and impactful games.
Oh, there we
This
go.
segment
Okay.
has
Oh.
none of that.
I figured you guys
Get
just kind of
ready for
forgot.
Joe
For the
Goodwin's
show we had
Lose
times.
Bad with Joe
You're talking
Goodwin.
over your intro, Joe.
Breaking down all of just the worst games every week. Featuring Colin Zanker, I hardly know her. And Nick Archa, let a guy get his own segment.
I forgot about that.
I would like to apologize for the following.
Oh, that was it.
All right, so you got a few minutes to hit the lose bad as Joe was able to watch the Patriots and the Dolphins played a 15-10 Dolphins victory.
Oh, it was wonderful. Way to spoil the fucking ending, Colin. Damn it. Everyone was curious because nobody actually watched it. So I probably took too many notes then for how long we have to do this. So fuck it, we're just gonna painstakingly go through all of them anyway. It tried to be eventful, but it never really was. Like Tyler Huntley starts off with a nice little throw to Tyreek Hill, and we're like, ooh, do we have some hope? No, it turns out Hill would go 6 for 69. Nice on the game. That's it. That's all he really did. So penalties fucked him up. They have a 3rd and 17, and he throws it depressingly short, and they kick a field goal. It was one of those where they were just kind of giving up on the play and going for a field goal. That was going to happen a lot today. So the nice thing, the plus side, the Patriots start off their drive with an Antonio Gibson run, who I signed on my fantasy team. So that was really the only thing I was looking for in this entire game was what does Antonio Gibson specifically do? Turns out not much. But
did you sign Antonio Gibson just because you had to watch this game?
No, I signed Antonio Gibson because there didn't seem to be very many better options. Turns out I was also wrong about that, but we can get to that later. And then we get a really nice 3rd down drop back from Jacoby Brissett, and he just kind of didn't notice that the entire offensive line just crumbled right in front of him. He was so locked in downfield that the second that he stopped his drop back, he got enveloped by Dolphins. It was wonderful.
To be fair, he's just used to that happening to him all the time, being, having all those people in his face.
Yeah. Well, and their line is, the Patriots line is so good. He's just never used to ever getting sacked ever, right? That's what everyone said about the New England Patriots. All right, so should we just skip a couple of drives? Let's just skip a couple of drives. Yeah, he underthrows some guys. Nobody cares. So then the Patriots get the ball back, and sadly, they've now put in Ramondre Stevenson. Sorry, folks. It's not looking good. Very next fucking play, after putting him in, he gets a 33-yard touchdown run. Just great. Here we go.
My man on my fantasy squad and one of my leagues from Andre.
Yeah, it was all pain for anybody that was hoping for, because they came out in the press conference before the game and said, we're going to start Antonio Gibson because Stevenson can't hold on to the ball. He fumbled constantly. That was a complete lie. Fuck you, Gerard Mayo. We come down. Let's see. So they
did start Gibson.
They did. Yeah, it was great.
That's not a lie.
Yeah. I don't talk about it. So Huntley's getting the drive going. They're looking good. Never mind. He takes a sack on 3rd down. Whatever. They're in field goal range. Doink. It's still 7-3. All this has happened. It is still 7-3. I just have written in my notes here, circled, Jacoby Brissett is old. Important for you guys to know. But yeah, he converts a third down run. He just powers through like 3 fucking people. He looks like what Cam Newton would look like today if he tried to play. It was kind of impressive. I thought he was just going to die.
Did he look like Cam Newton trying to shake Travis Hunter's hand?
No, because he was successful.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he did the thing. Cam Newton could not, which is a problem. But, it's how it goes. So then they're like, all right, cool. They're in field goal range. They got Joey Sly. He's pretty sly. No, he misses it. It's still fucking 7-3. Let's see.
In the
Here we
fourth quarter
go.
yet?
Huntley looking like a Pro Bowler on the following drive. He just misses the snap completely. It could have been the center who snapped it at the wrong time. It just flies by his head. It loses about 20 yards. That's pretty much it for that drive. Pro Bowl Huntley.
The Pro Bowler that he is.
quarterback.
Put
Tyler
some respect
Huntley.
on that Tyler Huntley name.
Exactly. The highlight reel I watched later because I could only watch the first half of the game live because I had to work the Bronco game. They were actually showing incomplete passes. So I have in my notes, highlight reel is actually showing incomplete passes. Ha ha ha.
Did Pat Schumer become their OC?
I think he's the director for Fox.
Okay.
And then I put, let's see, we have a second half, same as the first. Yeah, Pat's field goal is almost blocked, but still nobody cares. Somehow it's 10-3. Somebody scored a field goal. I skipped it. Doesn't matter. Tyreek Hill makes a sweet touchdown catch, and it's out of bounds. So now it's 10-6. So we're getting there. Things are happening. Yep, Brissett throws it to Stevenson on third down, so fuck yeah, he's failing. We have hope for Antonio Gibson, folks. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Let's see, Huntley slips and falls on 3rd and 13. That was pretty funny. He then underthrows Waddle like a Pro Bowler.
Like only a Pro Bowler can.
Exactly. So they actually make this field goal. It doesn't get blocked. Everything's cool. Antonio Gibson, 20-yard run. Fuck yeah. Here we go. Never mind. They just punted away. But that did happen. That was how he got part of that 6 points, folks. And then we have Jalen Wright doesn't look wrong. I wrote in my notes. I think that's accurate. And then holy shit, fullback touchdown. Woo is what I wrote down. Alec Ingold took the carry for the Dolphins and got in the end zone. We have a fullback sighting, folks. I was pretty impressed. Then the last drive of the game was actually kind of nuts. Brissett throws to Demario Douglas like 3 times in a row. They're actually looking pretty good. They have a chance. Antonio Gibson is in the game. It's on the goal line. Fuck yeah. I literally wrote that. He is ignored. They have a touchdown to Jalen Polk. Never mind. He only gets 1 foot down. 4th and 15. Here we go. Miami is smart, and they realize that from the previous notes, Jacoby Brissett is old. They blitz everybody, and he just throws a floater in the end zone to nobody. There's nobody fucking there. He threw the floater, but I guess he couldn't see him. I don't know. 15-10 final. The game just kind of fizzles out. Antonio Gibson finishes with 6.6 fantasy points, but I still won the week. So it worked out okay, folks.
And we all win because Joe got to watch that game instead of us. Thank you, Joe,
Yes.
for the
Anytime.
recap. Now we get into our fake bets with real money to wrap up the show. The Cowboys-Steelers. Nick and Joe both picked the Steelers to win that game. I'm pretty sure the Cowboys won at the end. There we go, my first win.
Sounds right.
Joe, you were the only one to correctly choose the Chiefs tonight over the Saints. Oops. Yeah, me and Nick lose that. We all chose the Dodgers in game 1. I don't know how the Padres didn't end up coming out victorious on that one, but okay. Joe, you and me both picked the Mets to beat the Phillies last night, and we already know that they came back in the last inning and lost. So, Nick, you got that correct.
Finally.
The Liberty beat the Aces to advance to the WNBA Finals. So, Nick and I, we both got that one wrong.
Yeah, suck it, Asia Wilson. That makes me smile.
That means the total results. Joe in first this week, winning 34.76. I was in second, winning 10.41. Nick in third at 3.86. We have a new leader in the clubhouse, folks.
Damn it.
Joe Goodwin, over $700 at 703.55. Nick is in second at 694.18. I am in third at 646.76. Over 700, and we are just getting started. Let's get on to the few games that we have ahead of us before our next show. First game that we are choosing from, Nick, you got to choose between who's going to go to the finals and face the Liberty. Is it the Connecticut Sun or the Lynx?
I like the Lynx.
Lynx our favorite at minus 190. Nick likes the Lynx. Joe, who you got?
I don't. I like the Sun. The Lynx have that coach who coached Team USA that was all talking about how the league is more than one player and a bunch of bullshit. So I don't actually know anything about the Sun, but
they're in Connecticut.
Fuck it. I just said, but fuck it.
Here comes the Sun. Da-da-da. Here comes our second game as we have the Dodgers versus Padres Wednesday night. So we are choosing game 4 of this so that these things can be parlayed together.
Okay.
We have the Dodgers at Padres Wednesday night, game 4. So, Joe, who you got? Dodgers or Padres? It's in San Diego. Sorry.
Oh, New York. Founded by the Germans in 1904. So there's one more game. We had 2 games so far, so we'll have one more in between them. So who's going to win the game after the next one?
Yes.
I don't fucking know.
Neither do I. That's part of the fun of picking this.
That's a good point. Thank you for explaining how betting works, Colin. You learned something today, folks. Let's go to the Padres. Let's say the Dodgers win the next one. Padres win the one that we're betting
on. Joe is going with the Padres. I am going to go with the Dodgers in this one. Nick, who you got?
Game 4. I'm pretty sure they're going to bring back the game 1 starter, so I'll go Dodgers.
Yeah, I think the Padres will have the momentum going into this next game. We move on to Thursday Night Football. 2 teams that were upset in a big fashion this week. The 49ers who lost to the Cardinals at home and the Seahawks who lost at home to the Giants. Both face off Thursday night in Seattle. I don't know. I don't like either of these 2 teams because the 49ers are just consistently good, but they have more guys and people that I like on that roster. So I'm just going to go with the 49ers. Nick, who you got? Seahawks at home or 49ers on the road?
I'm going to go Seahawks. Why not?
Joe, who you got?
I don't know. I feel like they're both kind of in a slump. Yeah, let's stick with the Niners. They just feel like they have it together. They're starting to get other guys involved, like Brandon Ayuk. Seems like he's got his training camp under his belt finally in week 6.
I am a little worried about that game for the 49ers because I do have a feeling the reason why the Seahawks lost to the Giants at home was because they were looking ahead to that game. We'll see. But our last game, Nick, you know the one you got to pick. Is your love for the Phillies still shining through against the Mets?
METS.
Yes.
Nick loves Philadelphia.
Oh,
Nick takes the Phillies.
You
Joe,
could almost call him like a fanatic for Philly.
You could say something like that. Joe, who you got?
Oh, fucking Mets. Let's go.
Me and Joe are both picking the Mets. Hopefully they can win the next 2, and they just.
I wouldn't be mad if they eliminated the Phillies.
And that would, I guess you could call that a little bit of daydreaming.
I wouldn't be mad if they eliminated the Phillies. Make the World Series a little bit easier for the Yankees.
How could a Phillies fan like you say that?
Yeah. What kind of fucking fanatic are you?
You disappoint me, Nick.
I'm chock full of disappointment. What can I say? It's been years and years.
As a longtime Mets fan, how dare you?
Yeah, okay, all 20 minutes. Thank everybody for tuning in tonight. A little special nightly edition. Every once in a while, we just like to, snuggle up with you a little bit, and
we promise you 2 a week.
Give you the bedroom voice a little bit there, just right in your ear.
Yeah.
Let you just have that wonderful sound. But anyway, thanks to Mike Spillane and everybody over at E5280sports.com for hosting us. Thank you, Pike Speak Sports Cards, our sponsor. Thank you guys for tuning in. Without you, we couldn't do this. Tell your moms, tell your friends, tell your mom's friends. Just like, share, love, whatever your app lets you do that you listen to us on. And
do the thing.
Blast it loudly in your car. I like coming out of people's car speakers. Until next time, we love you guys. Have a good one. Go sports.